Welcome to Boldly, the podcast from Shift Ed. Shift Ed is a triad-based nonprofit on a mission to boldly accelerate student potential from classroom to career. Each week, you'll hear about our work through the eyes of our team members, community partners, and the scholars who participate in our programs. I'm your host, Holly West Pauley, the Director of Communications and Marketing for Shift Ed. Today, I'm joined by our Manager of Elementary School Programs, Amanda Mehl, and two of our fantastic helps tutors, Ashli and Kyndal. Welcome, everyone. Please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Amanda Mehl, and I'm the Manager of Elementary Programs. Our elementary program focus is on academics, specifically tutoring with Guilford County Schools. I work with community partners, college students, and other nonprofit organizations to service students in kindergarten through fifth grade.
Hi, I'm Ashli Cave, and I am a helps tutor. I go to North Carolina A&T, and I've been a helps tutor for about one semester. This will be my second.
Hi, I'm Kyndal. I'm also a student in North Carolina A&T, and I have been a helps tutor for just under a year.
Awesome. So we've said the word HELPS a couple of times. HELPS is actually an acronym, and it stands for Helping Early Literacy with Practice Strategies. So Amanda, can you share a little bit more about what the HELPS model is and what makes it unique compared to some of the other tutoring models that are out there?
Yeah, HELPS Education Fund is responsible for the HELPS model. They're in Raleigh. They do a fantastic job. They have over 10 years of research towards this program. And the main goal of HELPS is to strengthen students' reading fluency and confidence as a reader. As students improve in their fluency, they're able to focus on and improve other reading skills, including comprehension. So we're really working with students that are looking to level up in that area. HELPS is supported by incredibly rigorous research, and we use this program to help students one-on-one with tutors in grades 2 through 5. Sessions last between 15 and 20 minutes per student, and they take place during intervention times in the school day, 3 to 4 times a week. So it's incredibly intensive and very personalized to what they're working on. It's incredibly unique because of the intensive support and how much we're able to train and monitor and work with our tutors to ensure that it's being done with incredibly high fidelity.
We're probably going to talk about fidelity a lot. What do we mean when we say doing this program to fidelity?
Yeah, when tutors have high fidelity, it means they're running the program without error. So tutors are able to look at the curriculum and use it to work with students without making errors that would impact student performance. So the higher a tutor's fidelity is, the higher we'll see usually with student performance because they're being guided to run the program as intended.
So for folks who listened to our first podcast episode, we talked about the education continuum and how that starts in elementary school with literacy. So tell us a little bit more about how HELPS fits into the continuum.
Yeah, all of our elementary services are based on getting students educationally ready to participate in the rest of their school and career journey. We are heavily academic focused for our elementary programs, and HELP specifically focuses on reading fluency so that students are ready to transition from learning to read to reading to learn, which in turn is going to benefit them in all of their middle school, high school, college, and beyond endeavors, and really prepare them for the professional world if they can nail down those skills as early as third grade.
So, of course, a critical piece of implementing the model to fidelity is our tutors themselves, which is why we have Ashli and Kyndal here. So as tutors, what would y'all say is your favorite part of the job, and then what have you found the most difficult?
My favorite part so far has been like the progress of the kids throughout the semester. A lot of them come in and they're kind of nervous about a new person and leaving class with them, and I just enjoy seeing their progress and the level of comfortability that they have with me at the end of our sessions. The only thing that I would say is challenging is like with the younger kids, they kind of get distracted because they'll see their friends in the hallway and they'll turn around and try to talk to them. But for the most part, the kids are actually really good when it comes to focusing.
And what about you, Kyndal?
I would say my favorite part of the job is how happy the kids look once they realize they met their reading goal. And as far as the most difficult, I would say sometimes I think when you're younger, it's easy to get discouraged. So when I can tell that they're a little discouraged, that kind of bothers me.
Yeah, for sure. Amanda, does that kind of track with what you typically hear from tutors?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is difficult in any position in education to keep kids on focus all the time, but the one-on-one model makes it much easier for students to focus because they're really excited and look forward to working with their tutors.
Yeah, and so this model, as you said, is pretty prescriptive. Helps has a lot of research backing their process. Why do you think that this model has been so successful in Guilford County and across the country?
Yeah, I think that students that we work with do not always get one-on-one time with their teachers as much as other students who are much below grade level do. So I think the one-on-one model is the most important factor of our tutoring program, that students, even if they are working in small groups with their teachers, are 3, 5, 6, 7 students big. And so bringing a student and taking them away from their classroom and giving them an opportunity to work on a select group of skills with someone who's just there for them makes a huge impact with students. But also data-wise, we are placing students at specific placement passages. And so not every student is working on the same skill in the same placement. While a second grader could be on passage 5, they also could be on passage 25 within the same class. And to view students who have such a wide gap of skill sets, yet we can work with every single one of them on those same skills, makes it really successful. In the different aspects of growth can be met no matter where the student is starting because their goal is specific to them.
That's awesome. And as tutors, Kyndal and Ashli, what kind of improvements have you guys seen with the students you've worked with? And, are you able to give us any examples of a student or two that you've seen respond particularly well to the program?
So as far as improvements, the helps tutoring format I would say it's really effective in helping kids improving their reading goals, like the constant repetition. A lot of the times I'll see kids that, aren't meeting their reading goals at our very first session, and by, the next time I see them, or because they practice with other tutors, I'll see them, they'll be exceeding the reading goal. And that's really the kind of improvements that I see. And as far as an example of a student that I've seen responding to the program, again, it was a boy. He was not reading the reading goals at first, and then after a while he started getting the hang of the whole format of how our tutoring would be, and that we're going to keep practicing. We're going to go over the words that you may not have read right and things of that nature. And after a while, he was exceeding the goal every time.
One of the improvements I've seen has been students being able to read without error. I think the first time they're reading a passage, they'll mess up a couple words, and then we go over it again and again and again, and they get it. And then, towards the end of the year, they'll be able to read passages with no error. One example of an improvement specifically that I saw, there was a girl who I worked with all last year, and at the beginning of our tutoring, she wasn't reading super confidently, but towards the end of the year, she definitely became more confident in her reading.
Awesome. I think the confidence is a really cool piece of it to see. We did a video about helps earlier in the year, or actually last school year now. And it was just cool to see the kids. They would come in a little shy and timid, and then they would meet their goal, or have to do it a couple times and then meet their goal, and they would just get so pumped. So as you can hear, we are seeing the growth that students are making in the classroom every week, but we also have a lot of data to back that up, right, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. This year we had 1,747 tutoring sessions that were completed with 103 students. Within those 103 students, we saw 86% students met their growth goal, and 58% of the students exceeded their growth goal. This is really impactful in education. You don't often see numbers that are above 40 to 50% for student growth. It's very subjective to the program that you're in and the way that you're monitoring that data. And not every program has growth metrics that are able to be captured with assessments, especially if students are not using the same curriculum or the same techniques to grow in those areas. And so this is pretty impressive for us to see over a group this size. We also have many students who are not included in that number that we did see growth with. data-wise that may have moved schools or not qualified for the program or may have left the district or even the state during the year. And so the students that we have in our data metrics are ones that we had from beginning of year to end of year.
Okay. And when we're talking about growth and these assessments, what are the specific assessments we're using to determine that?
Yeah, we assess students through the DORF assessments, beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year, along with a placement assessment at the beginning of the year. The DORF assessment is the DIBELS oral reading fluency assessment, and DIBELS stands for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. This assessment measures the growth that students make during the year through progress monitoring assessments. This is a program that students are using in their classroom as well as with us. We are not partaking in weekly or biweekly or even monthly progress monitoring through DORF, but we do use it to monitor beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year scores. Whereas in their classroom, their teacher is working with them to do this DORF assessment consistently throughout the year to monitor growth. Helps Education Fund uses this in alignment with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to stay consistent with the progress monitoring that we're doing in classrooms, so that it makes it incredibly easy when we're talking to teachers, because we're all using the same data metrics to compare how students started to where they are middle of year to where they are by the end of the year.
Awesome. Well, one of the other really cool things about this program is sort of these strong, positive relationships that students and tutors build. They work with a lot of the same kids throughout the year, and it's just really cool. And there are also a lot of fun elements in helps that make it exciting for kids to keep coming back every week. So I'm wondering, for all three of you, what do you think is the kids' favorite part of the program?
I would say the treasure box. Yeah.
What is the treasure box, and how do you
So
get it?
basically, when you get, so for example, if you get 10 stars in that row, you get to go in the treasure box, and it's filled with like toys and balls and stickers and things that the kids can just pick from.
Cool. How about you, Kyndal?
I would say outside of the treasure box, I think the kids enjoy reading. And I think that as much as some of them love learning, I think sometimes it's nice to get a little break outside of the classroom. So
I think the students really enjoy working with tutors that are not only great role models for what it means to be a college student and still be able to spend time in your community, but I think it really brings a level of feeling special and appreciated and seen in a classroom where they may have up to 26 kids. They get that 15 to 20 minutes where it's literally just them one-on-one. The tutors are great about chatting with them, and even though we have a very short time constraint that you really need to get them, do the program and take them back, our tutors make them feel like they're the only kid in the room every single time.
That's really cool. All right, well, now that school is back in session for the 2023-24 school year, we are going to have some new helps tutors that are going to be completing their training, starting in schools, and working with students in the next couple weeks. Kyndal and Ashli, what tip would you give to a new tutor to make their first few sessions easier?
My first tip would be, it's okay to like be nervous and make mistakes, because when I had first came in, I was really nervous about not making my mark when it came to it, but Amanda and everybody in the program were really helpful with, basically reassuring me like, oh yeah, you're doing a really good job, but, giving me critiques like, oh yeah, maybe try this time using these kind of words when you're encouraging the students and things like that.
What about for you, Kyndal?
My first tip would be introduce yourself to the kid. I think that kids respond better when they know your name and just a little bit about you. And then it is totally okay to have your script out. The kid is not going to judge you. They won't even notice.
That's good advice.
We encourage to have your script out.
And Amanda, what advice do you have?
Yeah, I think for tutors to communicate well with your site coordinator, with myself, I know that as we expand our tutor base, we hire more people to work on grounds and do those observations for tutors. And as long as you are communicating, you will grow in your confidence with your ability to work with students. We are here to support that comfort level. And like Ashli said, we don't expect tutors to come in knowing how to run the program with 100% fidelity. And that's the beauty of having that support. And we don't know if you need help unless you tell us that you need help. And so to communicate with us is not only going to benefit your practice, but you're going to see much higher growth in your students, which in turn really makes you feel good. We often have tutors say they get more out of it than the students do, which from data's sake, we know is not the case. But for our tutors to feel that way means that they see the impact that they're making and the impact that they have long-term on the students' reading ability.
All right, so as we've mentioned, a lot of our tutors are college students or they're folks with other responsibilities. So I would love to hear from Kyndal and Ashli and also from Amanda. How do you go about balancing the responsibility of being a tutor with everything else you have to get done in your day?
When it comes to tutoring, they're very understanding about your schedule because my class course load is really rigorous throughout the semester. And Amanda was really understanding about the fact that I was only available during certain times of the day. And since the sessions are only 15 minutes, you're not restricted to being there for a really long extended period of time.
Right before the beginning of every semester, Amanda sends out a Google form for us to fill out. And we also send her our class schedules, and we can pick times. So I choose to do my tutoring before my classes, so it's not something I have to worry about after or during class.
I think our tutors do a really great job of advocating for their schedules and what they have for capacity. We often encourage tutors that if they are at capacity outside of tutoring, that they decrease the time that they are spending as a tutor. We don't want tutors to feel like they have to schedule an abundant amount of time in the classroom when they have their own classwork to do, because the students won't benefit from cancellations and the tutors feel bad when they do have to cancel. Another thing is our program provides tutors with the opportunity to work with students without preparing anything before they come. I think with the scripted curriculum, it ensures that tutors can focus on their academic work and still provide services for their school site students, which is a beauty that many tutoring programs do not have. It's a benefit that we are able to offer our tutors, that once they're trained, they just have to bring themselves to the school sites, even if it's only for an hour per week.
That is really great, for sure. And then finally, Amanda, there might be some folks listening who have some extra time in their schedule this fall and are interested in volunteering as a helps tutor. So what are the qualifications to become a tutor? What's the time commitment like, and how can folks apply?
Yeah, so my elevator pitch. We take students and community volunteers from all walks of life. Our tutors fall into a couple different categories. One, volunteer tutors. Normally, our volunteer tutors are coming from college campuses that require their students to have a certain amount of volunteer time or are incredibly motivated to work with students outside of their major work. We also have a lot of retired teachers who just want to get back in for a couple hours a week that would qualify as a community volunteer. Our second category would be our federal work study students. So if you qualify for federal work study at a large college or university, which qualifies every single one in High Point and Greensboro right now, you can get paid to be a tutor through your program. We do not qualify tutors to be federal work study. It has to be done through the college or university, but we are happy to get you paid for that time if you do qualify with that department. And then our third category would be our internships. We have a lot of students who start as interns with our program through course credit, or we qualify as a site that you can be mentored under me to kind of work as an intern. And then many of those students stay as a volunteer tutor after their internship time is done, just because of all the things we've already talked about today. Once you are a part of our program and you have established that you want to work a certain amount of time, you can work between 1 and 20 hours per week. So we have many people who only work 1 hour a week because that's what fits into their schedule, and that works great for us. It is reoccurring. So one unique part about our program is if you're looking for a volunteer experience that continues, we are a great fit, because if you work on Mondays from 9 to 10 a.m., you will always work on Mondays from 9 to 10 a.m. You'll always have the same kiddos. You'll always do the same thing. You just have to show up and bring yourself. Other than that, for qualifications, we have a background check that we run through Guilford County Schools, and I am more than happy to meet on Zoom or phone call to give more details and ask questions, and you can email me to get that information.
So, Amanda, I think one question a lot of people probably have is, do you have to have any teaching or tutoring experience under your belt to be a tutor?
Absolutely not. You do not have to be an education major or have any background in tutoring. We have a very intensive training portion that we are happy to give you volunteer hours once you complete, paid hours if you're federal work study, or internship credit for participating in. We acknowledge that it's a very intense training, but we are very serious about our tutors having high fidelity in the program so that our students benefit fully. Once you are a part of our organization and trained, you don't have to continue to receive training. We will just continue to keep up with you to ensure you don't have any questions or that your comfortability is still met with the students.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank all three of you for being my guests today and sharing your experiences with the HELPS program. If you are listening and you want to learn more about becoming a HELPS tutor, you can visit the Get Connected page on our website. And we have a short link for that. It is shift-ed.info/volunteer. And make sure you're following Shift Ed on all of our social media platforms. We're at Shift Ed Scholars. We post about all sorts of volunteer opportunities and ways that you can get involved in our programs. You should also sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on everything we're doing. You can find that link on the homepage of our website, which is shift-ed.org. That's shift-ed.org. Thanks and have a great day.